You want to know what really flips the world upside down for someone who once thought they knew you? It's not the argument that echoes through unanswered messages. It's not the vanishing act, the ghost routine, or the carefully staged photo meant to catch her attention. No, it's when you stop performing entirely. It's when you evolve so quietly that your silence becomes louder than every apology you never got the chance to make. It's when the man she thought she understood dissolves into someone new. Someone formed not by heartbreak, but by the decision to heal without theatrics. That's what unsettles her, the realization that she no longer defines your storyline. Growth done in peace feels like a calm earthquake, imperceptible on the surface, yet shifting everything that once mattered. You start to notice that life tastes different when you no longer look backwards. You wake up one morning and the air carries no trace of old conversations. You check your phone not for closure, but for productivity. You build mornings out of goals instead of guesses. And slowly, you learn that your silence is not emptiness, it's presence redefined. At first, the world questions your quiet. They mistake your calmness for indifference. But deep down, it's not that you stopped caring. It's that you started conserving. You became selective with your energy, surgical with your reactions. You realized that every time you retaliated, you were handing out pieces of peace you hadn't even finished earning. So you stopped. And in that stillness, you became something most people aren't ready for. A man who doesn't chase noise because he's already found signal. People notice. She notices. The same woman who once measured her worth through the sway she had over you starts to wonder what happened to that emotional gravity. She notices you don't orbit anymore. Your energy no longer hinges upon her presence. That independence, it's intoxicating, but not because it's meant to punish. It's simply what freedom feels like when you stop outsourcing your validation. She sees strength where there used to be reaction. She hears silence where there used to be defense. She feels that distance, not as cruelty, but as evolution. There's something magnetic about a person who has made peace with solitude. You begin to glow differently, not in exaggeration, but in texture. Your gaze softens, your words slow, your laughter stops hiding its honesty. That's when people who once misunderstood you become curious again. They think you came back stronger to prove a point, not realizing the point has disappeared entirely. You're not performing resilience. You are resilience. See, the modern world sells chaos disguised as connection. It glorifies being loud, being visible, being constantly reachable. But the strongest men are learning a different rhythm. They're learning the art of being in control without being controlling. They move by internal compass, not by reaction to praise or neglect. They turn the same energy once used for validation into fuel for vision. You stop asking, "Who hurt me?" and start asking, "What can I build now that no one else is steering my focus?" That simple switch detonates everything false. Because when you redirect energy from people who cost peace toward projects that create permanence, you stop being haunted by the past. You become haunted by potential. The good kind that wakes you up before dawn because your ideas won't let you stay still. Months pass, maybe years, and one day she crosses your path again. She doesn't say much, but her eyes do the math. She calculates the distance between who you were and who you've become. And in that single glance, she witnesses the entire story, how the version of you that once sought approval has turned into someone who seeks purpose. There's no bitterness, no smug victory, just recognition that peace has finally picked a side. And it picked you. Every man who's ever rebuilt himself knows this moment, the quiet recognition that pain wasn't there to destroy, but to refine. The loss wasn't punishment, it was an unexpected introduction to authenticity. You start to understand that every absence carved space for better presence. Every unanswered thought became an inner dialogue with your own soul, and every failure was simply life redirecting you toward stronger footing.
You learn the alchemy of acceptance. You stop revisiting the what-ifs. You stop editing old memories for emotional comfort. You let the story stay as it was, not because it's perfect, but because it's finished. The peace that comes from closure doesn't come from their apology. It comes from your decision that you don't need one. True distance is invisible. It doesn't live in blocked numbers or unread messages. It lives in the absence of emotional resonance. It's the morning you wake up and realize that the old soundtrack in your mind has gone silent. It's when you see a reminder of her and your heart doesn't race. It simply nods in gratitude for what once was. That's freedom. The kind of freedom she can sense, even if you never speak again. Eventually, she realizes she no longer exists inside your storms. She's watching you stand in the sun unbothered, grounded, building, laughing, living, and that's when the energy flips. The one who once left now feels left behind, not because you chased someone new, but because you stopped chasing altogether. Your glow no longer demands admiration. It demands respect. Letting go doesn't look cinematic. There's no background music, no dramatic walkaway. It's quiet. It looks like sitting with your peace on a random Tuesday, sipping coffee in silence, knowing no one owed you explanation for how things unfolded. It's the calm certainty that some doors closed because you were meant to outgrow the hallway itself. You begin to redefine love as something you give without losing alignment. When that realization settles, masculinity transforms. It becomes depth, not dominance, discipline, not defiance. Your voice turns from defensive to deliberate. You lead your life the way mountains command attention, not loud, just undeniably present. You start drawing power from structure, morning routines, focused goals, honest friendships, clean energy. And through it all, you stop performing confidence, because calmness is now your natural state. You start to feel it physically, the difference between chasing adrenaline and embodying stability. Your tone softens, your confidence steadies. You become a walking contrast, quiet, yet unignorable. That's the type of presence that shifts dynamics without confrontation. She senses it. The world senses it. You're no longer playing survival games. You're orchestrating creation seasons. And here's the final twist most never anticipate. You weren't losing anyone. You were finding yourself layer by layer. She wasn't the ending. She was the mirror that revealed what still needed healing. That's the secret heartbreaks keep. They're not destroyers, they're sculptors. They carve clarity. They strip illusion. They leave you staring at your reflection until you finally meet the man who was buried under all the proving. When you embrace that truth, you stop scripting your worth around attention. You redefine success through self-respect. You find temptation dull because peace became your favorite high. You begin to master silence, the way monks master mantras, not as avoidance, but as art. Every quiet moment becomes evidence that you've outgrown noise. Solitude transforms from loneliness into luxury. You understand now that being alone never meant being incomplete. It meant being in construction. During that rebuild, your spirit finds balance again. You start seeing beauty in boundaries. You protect your energy like a priceless painting, guarded, intentional, sacred. That's not selfishness, that's survival evolved. And when she witnesses this version of you, grounded yet open, strong yet humble, peaceful yet powerful, she's met with a realization she didn't just lose you, she lost access to a man who finally knows his value. What unsettles her isn't your absence, it's your evolution. Because growth, done in silence, whispers what words never could. You're good either way. You carry on. You pour your energy into legacy, not revenge. You build, you travel, you laugh again. Not performatively, but from a place of genuine balance. You meet people without the urge to impress them. You let life unfold without dictating its pace. And in doing so, you become unshakable. Not because you stopped caring, but because you understand now that caring doesn't mean clinging. Every day you step further into your redefined masculinity, the kind that isn't threatened by emotion, but guided by wisdom. You embrace humility, gratitude, structure, faith. You stop identifying with the pain and start identifying with the purpose it revealed. That purpose keeps calling you forward, whispering, there's more to build, more to become, more to give. And as you live from that center, everything starts aligning. Opportunities multiply, serendipities appear, your presence draws the right people,